Now, somebody from the audience asked me last week if I could think about this, what we say in davening, in Ezra Savosenu. The Nusach Ashkenaz says twice the word emes. Emes ato adon na'amecha, and emes ato rishon ato achon. Nusach Sfarad, I looked it up, and they say 4 times emes, right? 4 times the word emes. Emes ashri shishmal mitzvosecha. And then they say emes mimitzrayim galtonu. Now, it's the 2 times emes that Nusach Ashkenaz says is one next to the other, ato adon and ato rishon. And the additional twice emes of Sfarad is one before these 2 and one after these 2. Emes Ashreish and Emes Mimitzrayim.
I believe the Makor is from the Zohar. Maybe you'll talk about this.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Okay. What did you tell me? So I wonder, so the person that asked me this told me that none of them are Farshim talk about it. So I was thinking myself, and Bechlal, you're allowed to think yourself all the time. It's a very good idea. I was thinking like this. And also, I wanted to connect it to the parsha like we'll soon see. Where this is the whole Ezra Savosenu, that's could be like the main part of the bracha, which is called Geula, and we're Samech Geula L'Tfilah. We once talked about it, that being Samech Geula L'Tfilah means that you can't go to Tfilah before you have Geula. Because Geula means that you're not under the reshus of the Gashmis, the Guf, and the Yetzirah, and the Kat Delay. That's the real Geula. Karva el Nafshi Geula. Geula's al Nefesh. Once you're out of their reshus, then you can feel the real Amid Lifnei Hashem. And as long as a person is under their reshus, he has something blocking between him and Hashem. So I'm saying like this. You have to really feel good. The whole Indian of davening is avodah shebelev. And I would say that even more so, the smichas Geula L'Tfilah, this what, through Geula, you can go to Tfilah, is much more important that you should really be margish belibo Geula. The Baal Tanya says, I think it's Perek Mem Tes in the Tanya, he says, Mimasar HaGuf. Yotze Mitzrayim means went out from the Masar HaGuf to be a neshamadika person. He's in the Guf, but the neshama shines. It's a neshamadika person. I'm not going to be married. He could talk a lot about it, but tonight we're going to be more makatzer. So, and in order to really reach that situation, a person has to work hard on himself. So we say in the davening, Emes ato adon na'amech, Hashem is the adon. He's the boss of everything. It's not like we think that we're controlling, we're doing, we're making, or we think somebody else is doing. Or if somebody offends me, we think he's the one that offended. Hashem is the Adon La'amecha. Ki yodua, the Baal Tanya talks about it. Hashem Amar Lo Kalel. David HaMelech said, when Shimi ben Gera cursed him, he said, Hashem told him to curse. The Baal Tanya means his emunah was so strong. And Hashem, it's from Hashem that he said, Hashem Amar Lo. So we are supposed to, part of the Geula, part of the bracha of Geula is Atov Adon Lamecha, but we say emes. That we have to tell ourselves that it's not enough just to say it and think it. You have to know it's emes, it's a reality, it's mamash ha-metzias. It's like the Chaim. Somebody came to the Chaim. A bacher from America came to the Chaim. And somebody introduced this bacher to the Chaim. He was already old. And
You're up in Scheinberg.
Could be. The person who introduced him said, this bacher came all the way from America. Could be. So the Chaim said, no, so what? Hashem came all the way by Yerid Hashem al Har Sinai. Hashem, it's 500 years a trip. Hashem
Oh, we just had it in Daf Yomi.
In
I had it also in Nazir.
Yeah, 500 years, in the beginning of Nazir. So it's not in the Gemara Toshus brings it. So the pshat is, it was, what is it? But Sof goes Sof, what is the Chofetz Chaim has to make, so what? But it is a Mesiras Nefesh HaBacher comes from America. The pshat was such a reality by the Chofetz Chaim. He lived it, he lived these things. So that's why he said, so Hashem, he mamish, he killed like he saw the Vayered Hashem al Har Sinai. They say, I heard that the Ponovich Rav once, he was by the Chofetz Chaim, and then he went, and then he left, and he met some Adam Gadol, and he said over something that the Chofetz Chaim said. So the Adam Gadol said, that's what he says. So the Ponovich Rav said, that's not just what he says. That's the way he lives. He lives what he says. And that's a pshat they said on the Chofetz Chaim, Uveicholo kulo omer kavod, they said on him. Pshat is sometimes you hear of a big person from far, you hear of him, you hear his greatness, but when you get close, and my son Yosef told me once, he said, all these people that you look, kibiyachol, look up to them and think they're so great, you get close, you'll see it's not such big godless like,
said to you.
Like you make it, yeah. He didn't mean Gedolei Hador, he meant Choshev Avrechim, older Avrechim, those that we call Mutzlachim, the so-called. So, it's a pshat, but they said on the Chofetz Chaim, like nobody checked them Bekoso, Bekiso, Bekaso. But the Chofetz Chaim, they said, Ubeicholo, when you get close to him, it's Kulo Omer Kavod. You see that he's perfect, even when it's Beicholo, when you get close. So I'm saying like this, the problem is that by us, it's not a reality. And if it's not a reality, it's a chasarn and gula.
I might have something I heard, I think, from Rav Neugershal. He said, wasn't there a mountain and a rabbi? The mountain, the closer you get to it, the bigger it is. And the rabbi, your kind, the closer you get to it, the smaller it is.
Oh, very good. So that's what he said on the Chofetz Chaim, that it wasn't like that. So we have to talk it out. Emes. It's emes. We should know. Don't think. We have to tell ourselves. Don't think that just because that we were yotze, we said it. You have to know it's mamish. It's ha-metzias. It's everything that we're saying. It's that Hashem is running the world. It means that He's mamish here and He's holding us by the hand and He's leading us. Like, it's easy to say it, but when it comes to somebody, to say like David HaMelech, Hashem Amar Lo Kalel, it's very, very hard. And we have to say emes. Now, the difference between the Nusach Ashkenaz and the Sfaradi, and the Nusach Ashkenaz says twice emes on Ashgacha, on Emunah and on Ashgacha. It's mainly on Ashgacha. Ato Odun Lamecha, Melech Gibar L'Riv Rivam. It's all Ashgacha Protis. The next thing is emes Ato Rishon Ato Achron U'Mibaldecha In Lonu Melech Goel HaMoshiach. Ato Rishon means you created the world. Ato Achron, and everything that's happening is leading towards the Gilui Kvod Shemayim. All that is about the Emunah in Hashem's running the world, and we have to say on that emes because it's not something that's obvious, it's not something we see, it's not something that's clear.
But it reminds me of the famous word that I think I heard from Chaim Zimmerman. The 13 imamis. What's so special about them after every letter? Timnaya Pelagishla.
It's also part of it.
It's also, no, these are the 13 things that we have to believe in that aren't written before us in the Torah.
And still.
I think he said over, Rav Chaim Zimmerman said over from Rav Yitzhak Elchanan, the introduction.
Even though it's not written.
Yeah.
So we have to it's a Iker in Torah.
Iker in Torah. Yeah,
so
from Rav Yitzhak Elchanan.
You mean things that are not obvious, and things because they're not written. So we say an imam. Oh, so I'm saying like this. But the first and the fourth, which is the Ashrei Shishmal Mitzvah Sechel, talking about us. Ashrei Shishmal Mitzvah Sechel.
First and fourth time. This is what the Sephardim had on.
And what they add, the emes that they add, is things that talk about the person, talk about us. What is it? Emes Ashrei Shishmal Mitzvah Sechel, saying the person is Ashrei, and the fourth, Emes Mimitraim Galtonu Hashem Elokeinu. It's talking about us. So we Nusach Ashkenaz don't say on that emes, because when you talk about us, that we're Ashrei and we're Mimitraim Galtonu, and with all the inyanim that we're nigal, we can be nigal. So it's more something that how do you say something you see? It's more visible. You see it, you see ourselves, and it's much easier to believe. That's what I'm saying. Because a person sees himself and he wants to be Mu'ushar, Ashreish, and he wants to be a Nigal. So it's much more easier to believe that's going to happen, or that is happening, or you're capable of making it happen. Of being Ashrei Sheishma and of Mitzrayim Galton, and the everyday has in it its geula. It's much easier to believe because that's about yourself. For yourself, you want the best. So we don't have to say emes, we just have to say that there is such a geula. So we don't say emes on it. We only say emes on what's not obvious. So I'm saying, so what's a pshat in Nusach Sfarad? That does say it. I'm saying like this. And tzadok ha-cohen is a very...
Oh, to believe in yourself. I remember a certain person made a wedding, he printed it up.
Yeah. No,
it was you.
It was me. I printed up this piece. And it was very interesting that the wedding, I just noticed it tonight. It was the wedding of my daughter Sarah Tzivia with Chagai Danik. And it's Osh Kuf Nun Dalet in the Tzidkas HaTzadik, which is Danik. So I printed up a Danik Schas.
I just noticed this now.
I just noticed it now. So I printed up this piece, Kuf Nun Dalet, and Reb Tzadok says, Kishem, just like Shetzarech Adam La'amin Ba'Hashem Yishbarach, a person has to believe in himself. Rotzalamar, he says, Hashem is dealing with him. You can imagine that. Hashem is running a whole world, a big enterprise, a big menal. Hashem is. He has factories, he has countries, he has big countries, and he's busy controlling everything. And still he has an asik with me. Not just he knows about me. Not just he has me in mind. He's asik with me. He's misasik with me. He's planning. He has a whole book of a plan about what's going to happen to my life. Who's going to say something to me tomorrow that's going to bother me? What's going to happen to me tomorrow? How's my learning? How's my davening? How's my parnos? How's my taivas achila? All these things Hashem is planning for me. I'll say, but he's busy. How could he? Yeah, the HR says that. How could he? He's busy. But we're not supposed to listen to that. Hashem can do everything. So he says, and Reb Tzadok adds, Adova Nifla, that's what it means by Aminu B'Hashem u'b'Moshe Avdo. That every Yid has in him a nitzitz of Moshe Rabbeinu. And you could say in Nusach Bresov, would say Bechinas Tzadik, Nekudas Tzadik. So everybody has that in him. So you have to believe in that Nakud, and no matter how low you fell, you have to believe in that Nakud. Which I once heard from Yisrael Schneider, that's what it means to to look for the tzaddik when they talk about looking for the tzaddik.
Okay.